Hey guys, it's Jake here with eTrailer. Today we have a 2023 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, and we're going to be taking a look at, and I'm going to show you how to install the Diode Dynamics SS3 pod lights with the amber backlight. Most of your Jeeps out there on the market are going to come with factory fog lights, which is what these are going to take the place of, but some of them will come with your standard halogen bulbs, and they do not do a whole lot when you're out on the road or if you're off-roading, anything like that. The LED fog lights that come on like the Rubicons and the Willys models, those are actually pretty good. These lights, I still personally think that they're going to perform better because they have more LEDs inside of them and they're really designed specifically for the fog application. With Diode Dynamics lights, you can get various different types of lenses for them. So if you decide that the fog lights are not the right ones for you, then you can switch out the lens to a spot or a flood or anything that you really want. What I would recommend is make sure that you're getting an approved light to put on the front of your vehicle so that you can safely drive down the road and not have to worry about getting in trouble. As I said in the beginning, these are going to be a fog light that have an amber backlight. So I highly recommend that you're driving down the road just like this with the amber lights on. We've got those lined up to where they come on with the running lights. They're tied into the running lights on our fenders, so I think it adds a little bit of style and just makes it a little bit more visible on the front end of your Jeep. Your standard fog lights that come on your Jeep do not have that feature, so unless you have your fog lights on, you're not going to have anything down there on the front bumper. These will help to make it a little bit more visible where that front bumper of your Jeep is. What I recommend is when you are off-road or by yourself on the road, you can flip on your fog lights and it'll give you an immense amount of light. These lights will have 5,796 lumens, which is an incredible amount compared to your standard halogen bulbs or the halogen bulbs like we have in our headlights. Our fog lights are, I would say, at least 10 times, if not more, brighter than our regular driving lights. One thing to keep in mind with these lights being as bright as they are, and I do have a set on my own truck, they are extremely bright. So what I recommend is do not use them if you have oncoming traffic headed towards you. I definitely wouldn't recommend using them on the highway, but if you're on back roads or anything like that and you want to be able to have better visibility, by all means, turn on your fog lights and you can see much better. Now you can see here, we've got our normal driving lights on. These are our low beams, and we're gonna hit the Diode Dynamics lights, which is our fog light button. And you can see how much extra light that it's adding. The other thing that it's also adding, which may not be super noticeable when you're cruising down the road because you have to focus on the road, but we have light from our diode lights going about 10 feet up the wall on the wall. So it just goes to show you the pattern that they throw to is going to be super wide and to be able to help you see a lot better. The lens on here is going to be a polycarbonate lens. Diode does a lot of testing to be able to make these as strong as they need them to be on the road because there's a lot of serious off-roaders and Baja racers that will use these as their main lights when they're racing. So they use the same lenses for the ones that they're going to have you put on your Jeep too. So you know that it's just going to be a really good lens that'll last a really long time. If that lens were to ever break or crack, the nice part about these is you can just replace the lens with the simple removal of some screws on the back side. You can pop a new lens in. If you decide you want a different pattern or anything like that, you can definitely do that. But you can see here it's a nice custom fit on the inside of our Jeep, the factory fog light spot. I think it looks super clean. It's a little bit more flat than the original one was, but I don't think it's a bad look by any means. But this is going to be a custom fit application. It's going to come with a bracket that is the same bracket that the factory included to mount to the back side of the bumper. It'll have a plug that plugs straight into your factory connector, and to be able to power the amber backlight, it's going to have a separate wire that you can run up and tie into the amber light that's on your fender. It's super, super easy to get installed. I definitely think this is one that you could do in your garage at home. We will have to remove a panel off the bottom, but with a push-pin fastener removal tool and a couple other simple hand tools, we should be able to get this installed with no problem. But with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at that. To begin our installation, underneath our Jeep, we've got our splash guard here, or our fake rock guard. What we want to do is we're going to take these push pins out from underneath. We got to get this out of our way because this little piece here has to come off because that's what's hiding the back of our fog lights. So we'll just take a push pin fastener removal tool or a screwdriver, whichever, it doesn't really matter, and pop these out. I will say this is the most base model Jeep that you can get. So that all of these are wide open. Your Jeep may have like little cutouts for each one of these. Those are kind of difficult to get to. You can still use a push pin removal tool like this. Screwdriver is kind of difficult. I know a couple guys here at the shop have made their own tool, and they just take a flathead screwdriver and bend a 90-degree angle at the end of it, slide it up there, and pull down on the center of this, and then they can pull down on the base. On the bottom here, we've got two 8mm head screws that we have to take out, and then this panel should pop right out. Slide it down and just set it out of the way. Now on this panel here, this whole little mud flap, or I guess you could say the little wind deflector here, all the way up to where our wheel well starts, this whole panel is going to come off. We've got several screws all around the edge. We've got one here, we've got one up here, and then we've got 4 more along the outer edge there. We've got to take all those 7mm head screws out, and then this panel should come right off. Having this angle drill will definitely help you. It's really tight in some of these areas, so being able to get up in there with a tool to take it off and make it a lot faster. Now we've got that cover off, we have to unplug our factory light. Sometimes you have to push in a little bit, then pull out on this plug. We'll let that hang there. Then take a T20 Torx bit. We'll have 1 screw over on the one side and 2 on the other. And this is going to remove the entire bracket. Make sure you save these screws because we have to reuse them to mount up our new light. Take our old light, just set it aside. Now we're going to have to get our light mounted up to the bracket that comes with your kit. For the passenger side, which is what we're doing here, looking at the light, you want the D in the middle of the light to read correctly, or the plug to be on the bottom. But then you're also going to want the 3-hole side towards the engine, and then on the other side of the vehicle, obviously, it'll be flipped like this. But to get these mounted to the bracket, you'll have these little nylon lock nuts. You got to slide down in those slots there. It's just very, very tight in here, so that's why I didn't show you. And it's pretty easy to do. And then take a washer and your Allen head bolt, thread it in by hand, and then you're going to need an Allen key in order to tighten those up. This will require either a 4mm or a 5/32 Allen key. We've got these little bitty ratchets that you can stick just a drill bit in. It fits perfect inside of this little slot. Otherwise, you can just use a normal Allen key to slide into here. You're going to line it up with there's going to be a little tab on the 3-hole side. That's what that center hole's for. Line that up with the plastic tab in the bumper, and that'll help you get this thing straight. And we'll just put our 3 screws back in. And you want to take your Diode Dynamics plug. That's the one with the orange fitting here, or the orange seal. Push that into the back of the light. It is very difficult to push these in. And then we're going to take our factory plug, plug that in so that it clicks. And then this other wire is going to be for our backlight, which we're going to run up into the wheel well now. Now inside our wheel well, we're going to have a 10mm head bolt. Take that out. And then up here in this upper corner, we're going to have a push pin fastener that we'll have to remove also. Pop this out, and then the wheel well, this liner is pretty loose. It's not attached anywhere along this edge, so you should be able to just kind of pull it out of our way, pull it down a little bit, and then right here is where our wire is going to be that we need to tap into. Now we're going to take the quick connects that come in your kit, and they have a little tooth here that is going to bite through the wire sheathing and ultimately make a connection with the wire. If you can get it pinched on a little bit, what you can do is you line it up there, and then you take a pliers and you can pinch it the rest of the way. You just don't want one of the teeth to go through the wire. And then you should be able to feel it click, which I believe it just did. Yep, it just clicked. I always give it a little bit extra squeeze. And then on this back side, this is where that extra long wire is going to connect. So I'm going to get it routed up behind this body mount and then up through our wheel well and get it connected. Now we'll take our connector, plug it in. You'll feel it kind of bite into this red piece. This is like a little maroon piece. You feel that bite into the red piece. And now, before I get all this buttoned back up, I'm going to go up to the lights on our vehicle and test these out and make sure they're working before I get it all buttoned up. Now we're going to turn our running lights on. You can see that both of them are working just fine here. And then I'll turn our fog lights on, and it should override the amber signal, and it should be our fog lights then. Now that we know everything's working properly, we'll get it all buttoned back up, and that's going to do it for the installation. Well guys, hopefully this video helped you decide whether or not the Diode Dynamics SS3 pod lights are right for you in your 2023 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited.